One of the most frustrating things to go through as a closer is spending 45 minutes, an hour, hour and a half on a call with someone who is never going to buy in the first place. And it's not exactly because they didn't have the ability to buy. It's not because they weren't a good fit. All those boxes were checked, but they gave you the signs that they were not going to make a decision today and you missed them. So today we're going to break down the top 4 red flags that will tell you that a deal is lost before it's even started so that you can be able to get ahead of it and obviously be able to help the person make the best decision for them and get paid in the process. What to do when you're hearing them so you're not just burning leads, burning ad spend, and obviously burning time. And as always, I'm gonna share live examples of what this sounds like and how I myself have overcome these things with live call examples. So let's jump in. So the first one is gonna be rationalizing and minimizing pain. As humans, we don't want to feel pain. So as we start to, we try to talk ourselves out of it to make the situation seem less than what it is. The literal definition of rationalization here from verywellmind.com is a defense mechanism giving logical or acceptable reasons to justify behaviors, feelings, or decisions while avoiding the real uncomfortable motives underneath. So what that sounds like on the call is they will say things like, it's not that bad. Or they'll constantly use the word but. They'll give you a problem and say but. I'm not able to spend time with my kids, but I'm providing for them. My fucking marriage is falling apart, but my career is going well, right? There's always gonna be a justification at the end of it. This person is trying to convince themselves that their situation isn't as bad as it actually is. And if their situation isn't as bad as it is, they're trying to convince themselves that they don't have a problem, no sale, and then they stay the same. They also may laugh at their pain. They may tell you something and then at the back end of it is some laughter, right? They'll tell you something very deep, very serious, but then they'll giggle at the end of it. This is someone who's minimizing their pain. And again, it's very unconscious. So now you're about to watch a live call of me hearing this, calling it out, and challenging the prospect on not doing that, which in fact, she thanked me at the end for calling her out on this type of stuff because this is how she copes with her problems. Let's dive into the first example. Can I make an observation without potentially offending you? Yeah. So like I said, our brains are a funny place and they like to play games on us and play tricks on us, right? We're talking about some pretty heavy things here. Right? We're talking about how sad you feel in your career, the fact it's not fun, or the fact you're constantly thinking about work. But I noticed that when you talk about it, at the end, you rationalize and you say, well, it's not that bad. What's behind you like consistently rationalizing your situation and telling yourself that? What's behind that?
I guess I've always done that. I kind of like to keep going because if I just say it's really hard and I just give up, I'll just wouldn't do anything. Maybe it's some of that.
Is it to protect yourself? Is it like a
Probably.
defense mechanism?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dangerous. And what I mean by that is if you continue like rationalizing how what your situation actually is, it doesn't give you any urgency to change it unless you feel what you need to feel.
Well, yeah.
It's like an overweight person saying, well, I'm
Yeah.
250, but I mean, I could be 300. I could be
Yeah, yeah.
350.
Which is how I felt before that. I felt like it was really bad, which made me start looking for help and trying to change things. Because
Yeah.
before I would just be like, I'm fine. I can do it. And just
Mhm.
keep going.
And there's still a little bit in that of that in you. I can
Yes,
still hear a little bit
probably
of
there's
that.
some of that, yeah.
Right. So maybe the right question then is like, are you ready to stop rationalizing and really look at the reality for what it is so that you can be empowered to change it rather than continuing to tell yourself that it could be worse?
Maybe. I think there is a part of me that is scared because if
Okay.
I just look at how things are, I'm just gonna be really depressed and feel like, okay, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Or I would feel like I don't know how to pull myself out of that situation.
So don't worry too much, and I appreciate the honesty there. Don't worry too much about how to pull yourself out of it because that's what help is for.
Mm.
But if we can't look in the mirror and say that the situation is not what I want it to be and I'm not showing up the way I want, or the fitness example, if we can't look in the mirror and say I am 100 pounds overweight of where I need to be,
Mm.
then there's no reason to change it,
Yeah.
right? So I guess again, are you willing to look at the reality for what it actually is and not continue protecting yourself by rationalizing?
I would say yes because that's why I'm here.
Being here is a good first step.
Yeah.
right? Being here, I'll give you an analogy. Being here is almost like, let's say you're hungry, and then you go to the kitchen, and then you open up the fridge doors, you see what's inside, and then you close those doors, and then you go back and you don't make yourself any food,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes we confuse motion with action.
Mm.
And so being here is motion. It means you're walking, but you haven't actually taken an
Yeah.
action, right? And
Yeah.
the thing, if I could just be honest, the thing that's going to prevent you from taking action is not looking at your situation for what it actually is.
Okay.
Do you see why I would say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you feel like in your mind, why do you feel like if you keep rationalizing, if you keep telling yourself that it's okay, that nothing will change? Why do you think that is?
Because I've been doing it for such a long time, and things have not changed. So yeah, there is a pattern of behavior there.
Yeah. So why now for you to break that pattern and not continue telling yourself that story? Why now?
Because I guess I just, well, first of all, I think it has to do with the fact that this is my first job. So one thing is being in training, and just you keep telling yourself, once I'm done with residency or wherever, it's gonna get better. But in reality, it didn't get better; it just got worse. And then
Yeah.
you're like, okay, this was the part that I was supposed to be enjoying myself, and yet it's actually much worse than residency.
Mm-hmm.
Something has to change.
Yeah. Yeah, because, and again, you're being honest with yourself. Like, I really respect that. Because I know you said it's scary or you're scared. Um, but like in your mind, what do you think scares you more, or what do you think leads to you being depressed more? Is it seeing your situation for what it actually is and then changing it? Or does it scare you more to tell yourself your situation isn't as bad as it is and then continue living through it? Like, what do
Oh,
you think is
not
scarier?
making any changes is probably more scary, because that means that um, I'm just gonna be trapped in this situation, and I don't want that.
Are you willing to settle for that, Laura?
Yep.
No, no, no. I said, are you willing to settle for that?
I'll settle for that. No, I thought I'd be ready to move on from that. Yes, I don't want to settle for that.
Yeah. And like I keep talking about our brain and how funny it is, like part of you knows this isn't serving her and knows it's not good for her. But there's also the side of you that has been doing it for so long, like you said,
Yeah.
that may not be very happy, but it's comfortable,
True.
right? And the comfort is what's going to keep you where you are. And
Yeah.
so if that way of thinking or if that rationalizing were to show itself again, would we as your coaches have your permission to keeping you accountable and empowering you to overcome that?
Hmm.
Are
Yeah.
you sure? I'm not always this nice. Are you sure?
I am sure. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Good, good. Number two, this one's gonna sound so obvious, but I see it missed so many times on the calls that I review, is not being in a good environment to take a call. That and not having their camera on. Guys, if someone doesn't have their camera on, stop the call and have them turn it on. This isn't a hard and fast rule. It's not black or white. Like, yes, I have closed deals with people's camera being off. All I'm saying is that the odds of them closing is very unlikely if you cannot read their body language, if you cannot see what they're doing. If they can't turn their camera on, how likely is it that they're gonna pay you $10,000 at the end of the call? It's very unlikely. Possible, but it's unlikely. If they're moving around and doing shit, right? Maybe they have their phone down and they're like, there's been people who try to hop on calls cooking. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Or they'll hop on a call like in their little bed. Guys, stop the call right then and there and be like, if they're moving around, Mr. Prospect, looks like you're on the move a little bit. I'll give you a second to get situated. Have them slow the fuck down. Or maybe they're driving. If they're driving, again, stop the call. Have them either pull over if they can pull over for the remainder of the call, or jump back on when they're not driving if they're only a couple minutes away, or reschedule the call completely. And then again, what I said earlier as far as their camera being on. And so the call that I'm about to show you here is a very simple example here of this lady whose camera wasn't on. And the way you want to approach this isn't super confrontationally. You just want to be like, you hear me good? Yeah. You see me good? I could see you, but I don't think I can hear you quite well. I mean, I can hear you, but I don't think I can see you yet. And then on Zoom, you wanna go to the fucking thing where there's 3 little dots and then click ask to start video. It's gonna request them to start their video, and then all they have to do is click a button. As far as someone who's driving or is moving around and doing shit, I unfortunately don't have the example I was gonna show you here because I fucking lost the Zoom account, but take this call right here on how to get someone to turn their camera on without raising a guard. Let's roll the clip. Hello, hello.
Oh, hi, can you hear me?
can hear you. I can't quite see you yet, though.
Oh, yes. I had to turn off my camera, but I'll turn it on. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I'll help you out.
Thank you.
There she is. There she is. Perfect. Number three is going to be their relationship with time. Now, before I tell you about this one thing that's important to know, and this is about everything that I'm talking about here today, is if these sound like you, nothing that I'm saying here is gonna actually stick because you're not gonna be able to deliver it with conviction. If you're the type of person who will book a sales call and then show up with their camera off or show up not giving their full attention, then you're not gonna be able to overcome that with conviction when someone else does it. You're likely gonna accept it, or you're just gonna sound weird. If you're the type of person to rationalize and minimize their situation, maybe you're making 7 to 8 grand a month right now, maybe you're making 10 grand a month, and you're telling yourself that it could be worse, that you could be making 2 grand or 3 grand, that you could be closing no deals, that you're doing better than the average person, then what you're looking at with your prospects is a mirror, and it's gonna be really tough to challenge them. And a lot of times, again, when this happens, is you're gonna take what I say to a call, but it's not gonna have the weight behind it, and then that person is not gonna let go of their way of thinking, and then that objection is still gonna come up at the end. I have to make that very clear. So when we go into time, it's the same exact concept, right? These are people who've been telling themselves this story that they don't have time to start. They don't have time to take action. Later has been the escape in their brain, and they've created this like perfect timeline, this perfect date in their mind. And the thing is that date is constantly getting pushed and getting pushed and getting pushed. But you see, the thing about this type of person is that in their world, they don't feel like this is a problem. They just feel like they're busy. Everyone's busy, right? They're overwhelmed with time as opposed to being empowered to take control over their time. So what this sounds like is things like, yeah, I'll start soon. Or, you know, if you ask them why they haven't done anything or why they're not out there, go, oh, I just haven't had the time. Oh, they'll maybe blame their family, which is like, who's gonna argue with that? Who's gonna argue with family, right? It sounds like a noble thing. Oh yeah, I've been spending a lot of time with my kids, spending a lot of time on work, spending a lot of time on my business, whatever the case is. The time just hasn't been ideal. The thing is, and the thing about these prospects too, is they will try to convince you why now may be a better time because of something external. So a prime example is you'll ask them, how long have you wanted to start a business? Oh, I wanted to do it for years, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever. Okay, why is now a good time for you to actually start? Oh, because the kids are about to go on summer break. The kids have been going on fucking summer break, right? So that's just an example of someone who has a poor relationship with time. Because, okay, well, what happens when they're back from school? Now, the thing about this person is they're gonna give you some type of creative objection at the end of the call, but it's all gonna be rooted in time, okay? So now let's dive into a call of someone who had a poor relationship with time and how I was able to help them overcome it. You wanting to quit this job, right, and do your own thing, because either way, there's still going to be a corporation, there's still going to be a boss, there's still going to be shit that you have no control over, like
Yeah.
right? And so in the 1 year, at least from my understanding, you saw what's going on and you're like, I want to be able to have something for myself so I don't have
Yeah.
to rely on this, right? Is that fair?
Yes.
And
Or
so what you're describing now sounds like getting another job, right? But what I'm
yes.
asking is what steps would you say you've taken towards building your own business with that goal that you've had for a year?
Uh, I can't really say I've taken a lot of steps, to be honest with you.
Okay. One packet, man. We'll have some light bulbs together. We'll have some light bulbs.
Yeah.
What do you think's prevented you so far?
Could you repeat that? I'm so sorry. My
What do you
my
think has
hearing is
prevented you? What do you think has prevented you so far? Well, I said one packet, one packet.
prevented me time. Honestly, time is probably one of the biggest things because once I'm done from work, I'm pretty much still at work, even at home. I'm trying to figure out how everything's gonna go, how's my coworkers, gonna do, making sure everything's organized for the next day
Okay.
un- until my days off. Once my days are off, then it's filled with family events or get-togethers or something that I have to go to.
Okay. So time. Can I offer a perspective?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So time is an interesting topic because time is ultimately the reason you need to do something, right? So that you're not working 60 hours. So you're not, again, working when you're not working. So you're not
Yeah.
in these labor-intensive environments. Time is the reason you need to. It can't also be the reason you don't. Right? It's like an overweight 300-pound person saying, I'll start going to the gym when I lose weight. Let me lose weight first, then I'll start going to the gym. Do you see how letting time be the reason you don't take action when it's the reason you need to? Do you see how that has kept you in this loop here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, do you see how that way of thinking has kept you stuck?
Yes, because it's all repetitive.
Right. Right. And you're smart for seeing that, right? But like when we really, really look at it, man, that perspective, that way of thinking, what has that costed you so far?
A lot mentally, physically, hearing.
You know? And so how much longer do you want to continue telling yourself this story of I don't have time and allowing it to cost you the mental peace, the clarity, the hearing, like you said? How much longer do you want that to continue?
Honestly, don't want it to continue.
Yeah. And I know I'm challenging you here, man. It's in your best interest.
No, you're good.
Because like I guess the better question is like, are you ready to let go of that way of thinking of I don't have time and get resourceful with the time so that you could get out of your situation?
I'd say I want to move forward, with using my time a lot wiser.
Yeah. And why now to change that relationship with time rather than like using it as a reason not to do something? What's different now?
Family.
Okay, what do you mean?
The reason for wanting to use my time a lot wiser, or how exactly are you wording it?
Yeah, the like not letting time respectfully, like not using the excuse of I don't have time and that's why I'm not starting something or that's why I haven't started something. Like why now to let go of that way of thinking?
Because I only have so much time on this place. I guess that'd
It's
probably
all
be
good. Like I said, we'll have some light bulbs, man. Dig deeper, dig deeper. Because that's been the case last year too,
yeah.
right? So like, why get resourceful now? Why be the person who is worthy of not having to work a job anymore? The person who's worthy of not having to answer to a boss, of not having to do these things. Because it starts with your own relationship with time. So why now to break that way of thinking? What's actually different?
Honestly, I don't have an answer to that.
Okay? So maybe a better way to ask it then is why change anything? Why not just continue doing what you're doing?
I want freedom.
Okay. You want freedom?
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest ones.
Yeah. And is it like a series of events? Well, let me ask you this, man, because like I'll use fitness as an example, like I always do. I
Yeah.
always use fitness analogies. I used to like work with like really big people, and there's typically either a series of events or a moment that is like, I'm tired of being this way. And so I remember I had a client that said that her daughter sat on her lap, his lap, I mean, sat on his lap and squeezed his stomach and said, Dad, why are you so squishy? Now, kids are fucking innocent. They don't even know what they're asking.
Yeah.
Or another one, Dad, how come every time we play, you get so tired so quick? These are the things that make people change. Or it's a series of events that they're fed up with. And so if we've been in this loop, if we've been in this pattern, if we've wanted better for ourselves, but we've constantly made reasons as to why we can't do what's required to get better, what are you seeing right now that is your fuck it, that is your fuck it moment of no, I have to figure it out and I have to make the time. Because if we don't unpack this, fuck the program, right? It'll continue to show itself
Yes.
even when you try to start something.
My fuck it moment is probably
Mhm.
getting mentally bullied, I guess, in a way.
Okay, what do you mean?
So it's like with this job. For the past 6 to 7 years that I've been with the company, it's always been you're just a pawn. You're just a pawn for this company, and we can toss you away at any moment.
Mm.
And I think that's why I've always strived and driven to do what I can to keep my spot as a pawn. I'm kind of fed up with it.
Respect that. That's a fucking real answer, right? That's a much realer answer than we only have so much time on this planet. Because it's the same thing. We do only have so much time on this planet, right?
Yeah.
But you don't want to live the rest of your life being a pawn, being mentally bullied by this job. Fuck the job, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And our brains are a funny place because part of you knows that this isn't serving him and knows that it's not good for him, at least that way of thinking of I don't have time. But there's
Yes.
also the side of you that's been telling himself that for so long, that's been in this place for so long. And so if that way of thinking were to show itself, would we as your coaches have your permission to keep you accountable and empowering you to overcome that? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure? I'm not always this nice. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. And then the fourth one and final one is going to be their relationship with money. This is going to be the one that is most likely fucking a lot of your deals. Now, before we get into the explanation of money, if you're watching this and realizing that you've been allowing a lot of these red flags to slip on your calls, that is exactly what I help closers fix. Like Shanika here, who hit 33K in only 3 months of working together, or Chris, who hit 30K a month after 5 months of working together. So if you want to double your commissions on your current offer or get placed on a high OTE offer and actually have the skill set to last so you're not drowning at the bottom of the leaderboards on a good offer making $5 grand a month, hit the link in the description and apply. Let's keep going. So now we're gonna talk about money. So I'm gonna read you a study done by the National Library of Medicine, right? I'm not making this shit up. This is done by people who are a lot smarter than you and I. According to them, the experience of insufficient resources can create a scarcity mindset, increasing attention towards the scarce resource itself, but at the cost of attention of unrelated aspects. In other words, your prospects are so focused on their lack of money, or they're so focused on the fact that they are broke, rather than the reason that they are broke. The reason that they're broke is because they don't have the skill set to make the kind of money that they want to make, or to keep the kind of money that they want to make if they are making it. They're limited by their resources rather than being empowered by their ability to be resourceful. I can say this shit with conviction because I have overcome my relationship with money. I grew up in an immigrant household. My parents came here in their early 30s with nothing. They were making $6 an hour. And as I grew up into a teen and a young adult, I used to watch a bunch of Graham Stephan. Shout out to Graham. Now, he gives good advice, but the thing about Graham Stephan is his advice is more so about saving money and being able to conserve the resources you have as opposed to going and making more. And the relationship I have with money started with my parents and seeing them struggle and seeing them make $6 an hour, coming here in their early 30s and like really grinding their asses off and consuming content like that. So naturally, because I had built such scarcity within myself, I would project it onto my prospects. I didn't see money as this unlimited resource, so of course I wasn't able to help them see it that way. So long story short, some of these things may go over your head if you believe them, because I fucking believe them. One thing is like you'll ask someone why they haven't taken action. Oh, I didn't have the money. Oh, I didn't want to lose money. Maybe they've lost money before, right? Maybe they're using a past experience and that's created some scarcity because they don't want to go through that again, right? What if I do this and it doesn't work out? What if I get scammed? These kinds of things. very focused on their limited resource, and they see money as something that's scarce as opposed to abundant. So now you know the 4 red flags to look out for on a sales call and how to be able to get ahead of them. Now the question then becomes, well, what do you do when you see multiple red flags? Here's the thing. One red flag doesn't mean that the deal is done, right? Your goal is never to force a deal, but more so to show them, now that you understand it and you can start to internalize it, to show them how this way of thinking isn't serving them and isn't serving the person that they want to be. Like, not every prospect is gonna be a good fit, and that's okay. Like, we're not here to judge people. We're not here to make them feel shitty about themselves. We're simply here to flash a light, to hold up a mirror to their situation and how they have caused their situation, and empowering them to do better. If you take what I'm saying here and these red flags and you see it as this manipulative thing that you're gonna do to your prospects, they will feel that and it will not land. So now that you know my top 4 red flags, start listening for this stuff the first 10, 15 minutes of the call, and you will close more deals as a result of that alone. So if you heard this and there's a particular red flag that you feel like resonated the most and you'd like me to expand on that and maybe make a whole video just for that, just comment which one it was down below. And if enough people keep repeating the same one, then I'll do it. Now, if you want to 2 to 3x your commissions on your current offer, if you're already on a solid offer, or get placed on a high OTE offer where people are actually making the money that you want to make and be able to last with those reps, fucking beat them, hit the first link in the description and apply to work with me one-on-one. As always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.